This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Luca Celebre filling in for Marissa Roberto, and the Jays aren't done yet, as after an offensive explosion in Game 3, they've made this a series. And the long ball was the story of the night. 5 different Jays went deep, en route to the victory. But now heading into Game 4, they've got a chance to even this thing up. And the good news for Toronto is that they know a thing or two about winning Game 4s. They've won 7 of 11 in franchise history, including 4 of their last 5. But they've got their work cut out for them tonight, because the Mariners are sending Luis Castillo to the bump, while everyone remembers Toronto's meltdown against Seattle in Game 2 of the wild card a couple years ago. Fans often forget what happened just one game before, as in Game 1 of that series, Castillo completely shut down the Jays offense, throwing 7 innings plus of shutout baseball. And while that was 3 years ago, he looked every bit as good against the Tigers in the ALDS. So with Castillo back on the mound tonight, don't expect the same offensive outburst that we saw in Game 3. But going into this crucial Game 4, how can the Jays pull off a victory? Well, they may just have an ace up their sleeve. At least if he can turn back the clock. And that is none other than Mad Max Scherzer. Calling 2025 an up and down year for Scherzer is definitely an understatement. But when it's all said and done, all anyone will remember about this season for him is his performance tonight. And while his last few playoff runs haven't gone his way at all, just look at how dominant he was down the stretch just a few years ago. Now, Mad Max also had some great runs this season, especially late in the summer when the Jays were fighting for the division. But as good as August was, September was not. If he's got one more vintage performance in him tonight, then this series is completely flipped. Relying on Scherzer in this spot is tough, and Seattle's strength has always been their pitching staff. So I don't know how confident I am. You need to just get to Castillo. Like that's the only way this happens, because you can't rely on a vintage Scherzer performance. To the NHL, and the Leafs are looking to make it 2 wins in a row tonight against the Rangers. And they're coming off their best offensive output Tuesday night against the Preds, as they put up a touchdown in a 7-4 win. A game in which 20-year-old Easton Cowan picked up his first career point. And after morning skate today, it looks like he'll be sticking around on that top line with Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes. But honestly, why would you take him off? I've seen enough, truthfully. Like he reminds me, and I know the London Knights comparison is being made in like the small player stature, but he reminds me of Mitch Marner. He clearly adds an element to this team. You picked him high for this reason only. Don't bump him down in the lineup. It seems like they're feeding off of him a little on that top line, and they've finally gotten going, so you gotta leave him. And this year, the Leafs have been led by a red-hot Austin Matthews and William Nylander. The pair have combined for 5 goals and 6 assists in just 4 games. But one area the Leafs need to improve on, kinda shocking, is their power play, as they are only one of 2 teams in the entire league that's yet to score a power play goal this season, with the Canucks being the other. Toronto's 0 for 8 to start the year, and they're a team that's finished in the top 10 in power play percentage since the 2021-2022 season. Now tonight, they get a Rangers team that the whole league has been laughing at. And that's because they've been shut out in all 3 of their home games this season, but have put up 10 goals in their 2 road games. So who knows what we see out of them tonight. Those of you in the Leafs region can watch the game tonight on TSN at 7 Eastern, with pregame starting at 6:30. And that's not all the hockey on the network tonight. In the Sens region, we've got Ottawa and Seattle. In the Jets region, it's Winnipeg and Philly. And in the Habs region, Montreal hosts Nashville. To the NFL, and we're at that point in the year where sadness starts to kick in. And that's because of the realization that we're already at week 7. I'd like that we have an extra game, obviously, but it just feels like the playoffs are right here already. And we still have more than half the season to go. That's dramatic, but it does feel bittersweet already. Week 7 kicks off tonight with a divisional clash between the Steelers and Bengals. Pittsburgh enters tonight in the driver's seat in the AFC North, sitting at 4-1. Now, as bad as the year has been for Cincy, they're somehow second in the division at 2-4. And a win tonight would actually make this thing pretty close. Now, they're in second because of how awful Baltimore and Cleveland have been. And last week, Cincy traded for a 40-year-old Joe Flacco, and they actually put up a bit of a fight against the Packers. And we saw the resurgence of both of their receivers. Jamar Chase was close to 100 yards with a touchdown, while T. Higgins had a season high in both receptions and yards. Now for Flacco, this will be his 26th game against Pittsburgh as a starter. In his career, he's 11-11 in the regular season and 1-2 in the playoffs. Now the first time he played Pittsburgh was back in September of 2008. And just to show you how old Joe Flacco is and how long ago that was, here are some things that didn't even exist the first time Joe Flacco played Pittsburgh. Uber, Instagram, Spotify, and the iPad. That seems like so long. That guy is old. He's played a lot of ball. And just to make Marissa happy, Taylor Swift had only released 1 album at that point in time. That seems like the craziest fact of all, because she has like 1 million albums. The Bengals are 5.5-point home dogs tonight, total sitting at 44.5. And some injury news that just came down moments ago. Trey Hendrickson, who's questionable for tonight with a back injury, is not expected to play. You can watch the Bengals and Steelers at 8:15 Eastern, 5:15 Pacific on TSN, with TNF tonight starting at 7. To basketball, and we finally got an update on LeBron James and his sciatica. Because according to Shams, it looks like we might not see him until a month into the season.
I'm told that the Lakers and LeBron are looking at around mid-November as a realistic debut for him. And so October 30th would be the earliest that the Lakers would be officially reevaluating LeBron James. But it is expected he will need at least a few weeks after that point. A source told me tonight that LeBron will be taking a patient approach with this rehab from nerve injury. And so the ramp-up process for this will be a lot of basketball-shaped conditioning work.
So it will be reevaluated in a couple weeks, and then a couple weeks to ramp up from there. Checking the Lakers' schedule, if it's mid-November when he returns, we're looking at him potentially missing the first 14 games of the season. And in a loaded West, who knows what that could mean? LeBron is entering his 23rd season and is turning 41 around Christmas. He's in the final year of his contract, making just north of $52 million this season. But it's next year when things get crazy, as he's going to be a UFA. But could that speculation begin earlier if the Lakers get off to a slow start? Hey, I thought Decision 2.0 was going to be something, so wherever there's smoke, there might be fire with LeBron. That's all. I'll see you back here at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Have a great day.